everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth show. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Daryl Fimple in the Mouth, Brent Bender. Hey, opening season, men. This is week 0. We've already done our previews. Yeah, it's football time, guys. Got a little bit Saturday with Florida State and some others. College football's kicked off. Talk to us a little bit, guys. Let's get into it. Coach Fimple, what are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Well, you're going to figure out a lot of teams are trying to cover up, especially the quarterback position. It's going to be huge. Huge this fall, especially game 1. We're going to have some people trying to play 2. Sometimes when you play 2, you don't have any. So we're going to find out real fast who's got a quarterback and who doesn't got a quarterback. So a lot of the good teams are coming back. They got that position pretty much sealed up. So it's going to be a fun year.
Any teams in particular you starting out you want to see a little bit? I mean, just kind of there's a bunch of them because some new coaches and things like that. Well,
you've got the whole moving up and moving down of schools. You want to see how Pulaski Academy, Little Rock Christian can compete on the 7A level. You've got some that have gone down. You want to see how they do on the next level and so forth. And you still got your, predominantly powerhouses year in, year out that come and go. But there's going to be somebody that sneaks around and kind of surprises us this year. And I think that especially our lower classifications, we got some really good teams coming back, and it should be a fun year because a couple even conference races are going to be like, golly, they were picked 4th, and they're going to win the conference hands down. So it's going to be an exciting year of football for sure.
Mouth. What are you kind of looking for here for week 0? And then we're going to come back to you, Coach Fimple, your top 5.
Oh, what am I looking? I'm looking forward to just seeing high school football again kicking off Friday night. Let's get it. Let's go. Been and watched several teams practice this off season. I really like where the high school football in Arkansas is right now. It's very competitive at each level of football.
It is, and you've been to a couple places. You've been to see Conway a couple of times. You've been over to see Morrilton, been to Pocahontas, headed down to see Uncle Bo this week a little bit. So you've been out there as guys are getting ready and everything. Coach Fimple, let's go back to you a little bit. Let's get your top 5 small schools going in, and then your top 5 big schools. Let's hit it.
Here we go. All small schools, we love them. We love them towns. Right now, we're probably getting our spaghetti dinners ready. We're opening the season. We got Booster Club memberships going out left and right. We're going to show off the new field turf, hopefully. Wink, wink there. Yeah, we got to be able to do that. All right, we got to have that new stadium shined up. We passed the millage maybe this past year. So we're going to show everything we got in our small scale. I think our number 5 right off the bat is going to be the Carlisle Bisons. Sir. Carlisle's out ready to ground and pound you. They got a lot of kids back from last year. I think they're going to have a special year, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then guess what? Titletown's coming back. Junction City has arrived. Yes, the Junction Boys. The Junction Boys are back in the mix right here. All right, got all kinds of skilled players all over the place, good up front, and they know how to win. 3. Here's one from last year. Our Elkins Antlers. All right, we're ready to make the next step right here. All right, the next step might have had some transfers. Fayetteville's expanding a little bit. Elkins is headed that way. Got a nice new stadium. Everything's going right there. And then, of course, our number 2 team is going to be the Prescott. You know why? Because they just win. And then in and out, it doesn't matter who graduates. The next guy comes up. We change our schemes. We've got a system there in Prescott. Maybe we won't get cheated by the chains this year. But I look forward to us having a spectacular season. And then, of course, Uncle Bo's got them rolling at number 1. We got the Warren Lumberjacks, baby. There's 2 things down there. Wide receiver you. Every one of those guys can catch it from the 7th grade on up. We're just plugging in holes there. So that's going to be our small school setting right off the bat. Number 1, Warren Lumberjacks.
All right, let's get into your big school. And I like those picks here. Uncle Bo's got a big one. We're going to have him on a little bit later on, interview him, but game of the week. But Carlisle right there. There's going to be some Junction City went down, had a great scrimmage. So, they're loaded to rock and roll. Let's get to the big schools. This is kind of interesting.
Big schools, get into it. We got 6. We got 6 to start the season off with. And this is one of those we got a lot of question marks too. A lot of the quarterbacks in that league in the West, 7A West has dropped out. We've had some transfers in at quarterback and wide receivers, some skilled people. Defensively, we got a lot of people back on that side of the ball. My 6th pick is going to be the Fayetteville Bulldogs. The Purple Dogs are going to come in at number 6. Number 5 is the Conway Wampus Cats. Somebody's going to say, hey, you pick them a little low. Once again, we got to show what we got. All right. We got to show some here later on in the season when it matters there. Big up front, got a talented quarterback, of course. Little question marks at wide receiver for Conway. Bentonville, plugging in the coach's kid at quarterback. All right. We're good up front. Both defensive and offensive line return starters on that side of the ball. I think they're going to be physical like all of Jody's teams are. I think they're going to make some noise in the West. Number 3, Bryan Hornets. The Hornets, returning the quarterback from 3 years ago. He's a 3-year starter, 3 for 2,300 yards, accumulated about 3,000 total yards. We like quarterbacks, especially nowadays, when there's so many rules against the defensive player anyway to begin with. But I think Bryant is good on both sides of the ball too. I think my number 2 team overall is the Greenwood Bulldogs. The Archer boys are there. And people don't understand that Archer, the quarterback last year, he only threw for 2,300 yards, but he only played like 8 games. Phenomenal athlete. They're saying he's actually spinning the ball better this year than he ever has. And then, of course, our number 1 team is the Parkview Patriots.
The Parkview
Patriots, man. The Bolden boy combination. All kinds of skilled players. Look for an exciting season out of them again. They're going to get pushed a little bit, I think, this year. We're going to see how far it goes.
Well, they got a big one opening weekend, Melissa, Texas. Just talked to Coach Bolding. The shortest guy they got on offense flying 6'4". So we're going to see where we're at a little bit in life and everything.
Well, the key to that, to know that, is my number 1 team is from Arkansas. We're not worried about Melissa, Texas.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to try to get over there and get better. All right.
If you're playing out of state teams, man, we're not going to put you on here. Just don't throw it out there.
We're probably playing them because nobody else would play us.
I think that's probably the deal. Well, guys, let's do this. We'll have Danny on next week and get our BSN Player of the Week and that part. Let's go in and jump into our top 10 games. And before we do this, let's go ahead and bring on a Hall of Famer, multiple state championship coach, Coach Billy Elmore. Coach Elmore, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's always good to be on, even when you're on vacation.
What we got going on here,
That's
Bill?
right.
It's the ocean. The rest of us are slaving, driving over here, dying every day.
We're in condo 1108.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We just, for all these years, I think the last, I don't know however many years, I know 30 something. I told my wife, I said, hey, we're going on vacation and we're going on first week of high school football season. How about that? So here we are.
Well, unbelievable. You're retired, and what are you doing now? Selling a little turf? Who are you working with?
Selling turf. Was retired for about 3 hours and working for Sprint Turf. Sprint Turf out of South Carolina. Call us for all your turf needs. It's one of the bigger companies in the country. It's one of the top 3 bigger companies in the country. Nobody knows about it because they haven't had a real big presence in Arkansas. But yeah, I'm doing that now and enjoying that and just kind of hanging out.
Well, let's get into these picks. You got them earlier, guys. Let's start it there. Number 10 right here, Daryl. We got Newport at Mark Tree. Daryl, break this game down for us a little bit as far as what you see. Newport's got one of the best running backs in the nation. Mark Tree's loaded up. Break this down for us, Daryl.
Well, Newport's got 10 returning starters on offense and 10 on defense with the running back that's finally going to get to play. Last time he played, Hembree Baker had 1,225 yards and 10 TDs. That was his sophomore year. So they're looking for big things out of him. Coach Sheridan is really excited about Newport right now. Mark Tree, skilled guys, 7 on offense, 7 on defense. Got Kenyon Carter back at quarterback that accumulated 3,400 yards and 37 TDs at the Tree, baby. That's somebody's career, by the way. The guy had it 1 year. He's only 5'9". They got skilled players all over the place at Mark Tree. The lack of experience of offensive lines got some people scared at the Tree. So that's why we're going to go with Newport to beat Mark Tree on the road. That's Coach Fimple's pick.
Coach Fimple's pick, Mouth. Who you got here? Newport and Mark Tree. That's not too far from your house over there a little bit.
No, I am going with the Newport Greyhounds. with their top notch running back that's hasn't played since the 10th grade. I'm going Newport.
I'm going to go with the Greyhounds. Also, feel like just a lot of returning starts. Ought to be a great game over there. I'm going to go with them also. Coach Elmore, who you have?
Yeah, go to Newport. If there are questions in Mark Tree's offensive line, they may be great. We just don't know yet. I mean, you got to go with the big hogs. You got to go with who's got the advantage up front.
I agree with you. So you're going with Newport. Go ahead.
I said I'm going with Newport. Yes, sir.
Going with Newport. Guest speaker's going with Newport. All right, this will be interesting. Coach Fimple, let's get in this one. The team we've really been high on in the preseason, the Mansfield Tigers at Bismarck. Feel like they've got this. I mean, these guys ain't messing around week 0. Let's just get going here. So talk to me, Daryl, a little bit about Mansfield and Bismarck.
Well, Mansfield coming off a great year last year. They returned 8 people on offense, 8 on defense. The most important player they return are the Burton boys and the Strozier, who's their quarterback. Strozier can run the football, played most of last year with broken ribs. He plays on the other side of the ball, too. He had 86 tackles last year. How do you like your quarterback to have 86 tackles? Yeah, it's pretty physical down there in Mansfield. They return Daniel Burton, 1,603 yards rushing last year with 19 touchdowns. Bismarck, on the other hand, has 10 offensive starters back. Ben Keithley is the quarterback. He is the coach's kid, which we all love coach's kids. He threw for 1,956 yards and 23 touchdowns last year. They're pretty good on the defensive side of the ball, too, especially the linebacker spot with Malachi Stevenson had 58 tackles, and Johnny Diaz had 55 tackles. And they're the 2 of the leading tacklers that have came back for Bismarck. So Bismarck's got them at home. You got to like Mansfield willing to go to Bismarck this early in the season, kind of test their mettle on the road. So I'm going to go with Mansfield. I like how Mansfield's setting up, taking on challenges here. I think this is going to be a big year for Mansfield.
It is. All right, Mouth, who you got in this one?
You got to go with Bismarck here.
Ooh, okay. What's your reason? Let's talk about that a little bit. Why are you on Bismarck?
They had a great year last year. Expected more of the same.
You like the home field advantage?
I do. I do. Home field advantage.
I got you. Coach Elmore, I mean, this is kind of an interesting thing for you because you graduated from Mansfield and you live there now. So Mansfield Tigers at Bismarck, what's your break it down for us, Coach Elmore?
Well, I went and talked to Coach Overton the other day, and I'd actually never really spent much time visiting with him, but how do you not go with the Mansfield Tigers? You got to go with the Tigers, baby. Hey, resurgence last year, state semifinals. They're ready to roll. Rolling into Bismarck. The Tigers and the Lions battling it out.
No doubt. So
we need to make that happen. Mansfield Hall of Fame right there.
That's right, man.
Mansfield Hall of Fame, man. We'll get in every other Hall of Fame. Come on. Get Coach Elmore in the Hall of Fame of Mansfield, guys.
We got to do something over there. I mean, I've got to talk to the people over there. I don't know what's going on. I mean, who knows? All right, this next game, guys, let's get into it, Daryl. This is an interesting game.
Wow.
We popped it on the list. I mean, we've got honorable mention games, Little Rock Christian, El Dorado Farm, Shiloh, Pocahontas, Salem. But this one is really interesting. Whitehall at Sheridan. Sheridan comes off, plays Malvern in the scrimmage. Very, very impressive, Coach Patton. You're talking about multiple state championship coaches.
This is the Lord of the Rings. This is Lord of the Rings game. It's Lord of the Rings. I mean, good God. These guys can't even hold their hands up. And they got so many of them in there. I mean, golly. Yeah. We're going to see which strategy works first. Yeah.
Well, let's get into this a little bit. I mean, I talked to Coach Kelly. I mean, he feels pretty good about his team, says they're growing. He's a little concerned about some speed at Whitehall. Break it down for me. I mean, this is a very interesting game right here.
Well, it's kind of the unknown too. You got 2 Hall of Fame coaches to be, and one of them's already in there. One's right behind him. Whitehall does return 4 players on offense, 4 on defense. Of course, that's from a previous coaching staff. They've been through 3 coaches in 3 years, bless their hearts. But man, they hit a home run. Getting Coach Patton to come over there is unbelievable. They're really high on their team speed overall. Which probably is not on Sheridan's radar right now. But Coach Kelly, he's coached on so many different teams that had so many different weaknesses, playing different people, and he's just a unbelievable play caller. So you look for Sheridan, and that's the other thing is too. You got 2 new systems going in. How quickly can your kids grasp it? I mean, I'm sure Brady Dillon's their leading returner at Sheridan at quarterback, threw for 1,776 yards, which, by the way, was the single season record at Sheridan.
I'm going to say it gets broke this year.
I'm going to say it's getting broken by game 4. So he's just going to shatter that. He threw 18 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Coach Kelly will have him. He's already bragged on him about making reads and the right reads. Their secondary is the problem. That's the big question at Sheridan. And that's one of the Whitehall things that they've got some team speed back there. They are playing at home. I think everybody's going to be geared up at Sheridan. The Kevin Kelly era starts right here. I expect, they're going to be pretty fired up. So I'm going to take the Yellow Jackets at home.
Wow, taking the Yellow Jackets at home. All right, Mouth, this is interesting. I mean, you've talked about this a little bit also. Who do you like in this one, Whitehall at Sheridan?
First of all, let me say 2 great coaches, Daryl Patton at Whitehall and Kevin Kelly at Sheridan. You're exactly right. They've won more state championships than most people have.
Games.
Yeah. And Whitehall, they've been through so much over the past year. I'm pulling for this team. I am. They need something good to happen to them in the worst way. So I am going Whitehall for this game. Must be sound on their kickoff return, because if Sheridan scores, they're going onside kick it. They've got to be sound on defense because Kevin Kelly does not know what a punter is. So I'm going to go with Coach Daryl Patton and Whitehall in this game.
Going Whitehall. I'm going to go, and this is the one, man, I've been back and forth. I ain't really made my mind up on, but I'm going to go Whitehall. I don't know why. I take that back. I'm going to go with Sheridan. I'm going to go with Coach Kelly. I think with the jumped around there, I think the onside kicks, the punt thing, it'll be new. I'm going to go with Sheridan. Coach Elmore, who do you like?
I'm going with Sheridan because they're going to have a guy on the fence there, and he's going to have his truck back up. And every time something good happens, he's going to start it and he's going to rev the engine up. I don't know who that guy is, and I don't know how much gas he goes through on a Friday night. But I guess that depends on how well the team does. But no, I'm going to have to go with Sheridan on this one.
Going with Sheridan. Yes, they are at home. I think it's going to be really interesting. And that, this is a game that, great start for each program, new stuff there. All right, next game's this one. And this one here, they played a bunch here the last couple of years, and PA's pretty much dominated it. But Joe T is very, very, very loaded. Picked number 1 in their conference, really high in the state. We got Joe T. Robinson at PA. Daryl, break this one down.
Well, Joe T is got a bunch of skill players back. Got some transfers in there too. Tyson Braden comes over from North Little Rock, threw for 2,000 yards last year and 21 touchdowns. Nick Abrams is returned at tailback, 721 yards, 12 TDs. They got their best linebacker, Josh Smith, is back. He had 112 tackles last year. They can return 4 on offense and 8 on defense, Joe T does. And it seems like every year they win 10 games. So they travel over to Pulaski Academy, who returns 8-8. Of course, we moved up in classification, but we returned Brandon Cobb. Now, check out this. You want to talk about career numbers in the season? This guy threw 574 times last year for 4,300 yards and 39 touchdowns. He rushed for 587. Not a math guy, but that's almost 5,000 yards of total offense this guy had. All right, that's astronomical. So offensively, they're pretty good. He accounted for 44 touchdowns on the year. Walker Culpepper's number 1 targets back, had over 1,400 yards receiving last year. Evan Goodwin, everybody in the world's after the big offensive lineman, 6'7", 300 pounds. They're really excited about their first 11 on both sides. They'll play them both ways. So I think they've got some experience up front too. The secondary is a little question mark on them. But I don't know if Joe T can take advantage of it, especially traveling over there. I think Pulaski Academy wins this in a shootout. I think this is going to be like 56, in the 50s. I think you're going to have to score 50 to win. To tell you the truth, I would be not amazed at all if both of them hung up at least 40 points.
No doubt, no doubt.
So I'm taking Pulaski Academy.
Yeah, I figured you were. I don't think there's any question about that. And Daryl, the thing about it is PA's offensive line, man. They've really beefed up a little bit getting ready for 7A, but
yeah.
Yeah,
doubt. I'm sure we got some nutrition people over there. I mean, seriously.
Mouth, who you liking this one? Who you liking this one, Mouth?
I like Pulaski Academy in this one. Massive offensive line. Probably their biggest they've had in I don't know how long. Just think they better put some more light bulbs in the scoreboard because they might blow them out Friday night. Could be a 49-42 game.
Wow. Coach Elmore, who you like in this one?
As good a job as Coach Escola and those guys do over there, I just think the classification difference is just too much to overcome. I got to go with PA.
I'm going to go with PA too. I think they just got too much firepower. All right, there we go. This is an interesting one here. Let's go to Greenwood at Bentonville West. Daryl, break this one down. Greenwood had a great scrimmage with Fayetteville back and forth. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the state. Hadn't lost a game in a long freaking time. Talk to us a little bit about this game.
I think they're better than they were last year, which is crazy. I think they're actually better than they were last year. Kane Archer starts with that guy. I mean, he's a Power 4 kid. I mean, he's going to play on the national scene. He had over 2,300 yards last year, 659 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns on the ground, and he threw for 33 through the air. So he accounted for 49 touchdowns. Only 3 interceptions. The dude threw 3 interceptions. So his decision-making is off the chart. Got wide receiver Grant Carnes back, who almost went over 1,000 yards. That's the thing. Their wide receivers, there's so many of them. I don't know if there's just one guy you can key on, not in, not out. A guy that stood up kind of towards the end of the year was Isaiah Arrington, had 582 yards. And, guess what? They get a transfer in from Nebraska. I mean, golly. Yeah. I mean, what was that? Yeah. Champ Davis, better name too, by the way. Already got an offer from Nebraska. He just comes over to Titletown over here and sees what he's got. They've also, probably the most important part for Greenwood is they got 3 offensive linemen back that started all last year. And then Cash Archer on the defensive side just anchors everything. They're going to stand him up. He threw up video game numbers last year. He had 78 tackles, 29 tackles for loss, dude had, with 20 sacks.
Jeez,
and so now we're going to stand him up and move him around a little bit. And I don't know what people are waiting on for that guy because he's a freak. Bentonville West, though, hey, how about them stepping out of the box and going, hey, we'll go down there and we'll bring Greenwood up here to us. 7 on offense, 5 on defense back, breaking in a new quarterback, Trey Thompson, who's the defense coordinator's son. Once again, Coach Skid, all-state wide receivers back, Harrison Benson. D-line and the offensive line are the big, huge question marks. Not good question marks when you're playing Greenwood. And the guy just talked about Cash Archer. And you might have some problems. The other thing that Greenwood does a great job of is their secondary, their back end. They'll play guys on both sides of the ball. Like I said, they got a great group of wide receivers. A little questions at running back, but I think they're going to do that by committee. So I'm going to take Greenwood going on the road and beating the Bentonville West Wolverines.
Who you got here, Mouth?
Well, the Mouth must say he must go with the Greenwood Bulldogs and Coach Chris Young.
So you got the Greenwood Bulldogs. So you're not living too far from there, Coach Elmore. I know you're on the beach. Who do you like in this? Greenwood and Bentonville West. You used to coach at Greenwood, so you're pretty close to that school there and that team. So talk to me a little bit about this game.
Well, that's my grandson that's 2 years old, but in about 15 years, he'll be a Greenwood Bulldog. So I asked him about this game this morning down on the beach, and he said, go Bulldogs. So I guess I got to go with Greenwood. How about that?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That answers the question of when the Bulldogs start being Bulldogs.
Well, I mean, he was going to be the guest picker and come on and do that, but we're in the middle of nap time right now. So, I mean, nap's real important.
Yes, well, yes, indeed.
It is important, but you're going to have to talk to Sue. I mean, we got to make some picks here. I mean, come on, man. We got to hold the guy up a little bit. I get it, though.
Well, we could have kept him awake a little bit longer. Yeah, right. He's 2, so he's ready for this. He's ready for this already. We're working on it.
Well, let's move on here to the Salt Bowl here with Benton at Bryant. Saturday at War Memorial Stadium. Enough said. Ben's actually played Bryant probably as good as anybody so far. Hadn't beat them in a long time, but has played them pretty well. Daryl, break this one down.
Well, it's if you can get out of the half, there's always one bad half Benton has. It's either the first half or second half that's been killing them. But you got Drew Davis back. He completed 72% of his passes last year at Benton. Went over 3,100 yards passing, accounted for 42 touchdowns, which was a regular season. Was actually a record a season. And he only threw 2 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions the whole entire year last year. Benton also returns 8 on offense, 7 on defense. Running back is going to be kind of a committee thing. Quentin Godley is going to come in there to try to help replace, big dog that's at the heel right now. Luther Tucker also moved in from Southwest Little Rock. I think he's going to help him some. Gives him a little bit of a different look. He's a little speed guy. Maddox Davis is back, all-state wide receiver, caught 64 passes for 868 yards, 15 touchdowns. Ellis Payne's also back, so they got both guys on the outside. They'll slide one inside too. Payne had 46 catches last year for 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns. Really good tackles. Both of them got Benton's got 2 bookend tackles. Parker Grace, 6'4", 293, and Isaiah Gibson, 6'1", 276. And they 3-year starters, by the way. So there's not a lot of things that's going to trick them. Safety's back. Thomas Pepper, he had 97 tackles last year. Walker Hicks, their leading tackler, is back too. So Benton's pretty stout, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then Bryant's got 7 on offense, 9 on defense back. Jordan Walker's back. Quarterback I'm really high on. 62% passer, 2,583 yards, but he ran it for 417 yards, 4 TDs. He threw for 33 TDs. He's making better decisions, they say. And then they've got like the staple, that's been the big thing about Bryant. It's always been they've got 4 or 5 running backs. And this year they've got down to like 2, and then they've got 2 that are kind of inexperienced guys, but I think they're both going to be pretty good. Well, the lead dog is Daniel Anderson. If he can stay healthy, he's already committed to Notre Dame. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds, 500-pound squatter. Myron Thrash played a lot last year. Myron Thrash Jr., he's going to be a senior this year with 829 yards, 11 touchdowns. H-back, this guy destroyed Conway last year. So look for big things out of this guy. Carter Ratcliffe, he's 6'5", 210 pounds. He had 41 catches for 718 yards and 8 touchdowns. Now, against Conway, though,
let me get on that guy. That guy's a great player, and I mean he dominated things. I mean, by himself a little bit.
Yeah, there was no answer for that guy. He had 11 catches against Conway for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns. And once again, that's somebody's season. And that guy had it against Conway at the time, and that was a huge game. They have the All-State in Eli Hill back. Last year I think they won the Salt Bowl 38-7, something like that. So I'm looking at Bryant continuing the Salt Bowl dominance and winning again.
Bryant's got so many guys back. I mean, you got them real high, obviously. Should be tough. I'm going to go with Bryant. Mouth, who you got in this one?
I'm going with Bryant. Excited to see how Coach Sanders coming into his second year at Bryant High School. Last year, he sort of had to take the job and drink water through a fire hose, getting everything right, even though he was an assistant there. But how on the Bryant Hornets?
On the Bryant Hornets. Coach Elmore from the beach, who you like? You've been to this Salt Bowl game and have attended it. Talk to us a little bit about it, and what do you see happening in this game?
First of all, what an atmosphere for a week 1 or week 0 high school football game. Good grief. And hats off to both those schools for everything that they do to build that game up. I mean, as far as winning and losing, you got to go with Bryant until Benton proves that they can do it. Benton's one of the better 6A teams. Bryant's one of the better 7A teams. But, Bryant's obviously had their number the last several years, and that's just, until they prove it, that's just kind of the way you got to keep picking it,
Yeah, no doubt. All right, next game's this one, Battle of the Bone. Daryl, this is getting into your neck of the woods a little bit. Got Van Buren at Alma. Van Buren maybe has some quarterback issues. Alma goes over to south side and the scrimmage just dominates. Talk to us a little bit about this game.
Well, Van Buren's got 8 on offense, 8 on defense back. Like you said, they're battling the quarterback. Can't find one right now, so they're playing both of them. They do return Cameron Keller, who's committed to play at the Air Force Academy because the dude has 31 on his ACT. 31 on his ACT. He also rushed for 1,136 yards, so he knows where to make the right move at. A smart kid. 15 touchdowns on the year. They also have their returning wide receiver back, Trenton Cooley, who had 85 catches for 1,221 yards. And 12 touchdowns. The offensive line has 4 starters back. So it's really the biggest thing about Van Buren is the quarterback issue. Defensive lineman is they got a freak up front named Alex Welburn. He is 6'3", 335 pounds. He had 49 tackles last year, 2 sacks, 6 tackles for losses. So they're pretty good up front. He sheds a lot of double teams, creates a lot of havoc in people's backfield. Alma returns 6 on offense, 8 on defense. They have 21 seniors this year, which is a large number for them recently. They're breaking into quarterback too. Their offensive line is led by Easton Daly. That's a name that you need to remember. That's another one of them Daly boys that run through there quite often. 6'2", 280 pounds. They are at home. Alma's at home. It's Frank Vine's Field, by the way. It's not really Frank Vine's Field, but it should be Frank Vine's Field. I mean, golly, we finally got the old Airedale Country sign back up, by the way. So our AD down there, our AD, Jared Burns, is making things happen. Now, the next step is the Frank Vine's Field. All right? That's what we need. If we're ever going to win the Bone again, name the daggum field after the legend. All right? Golly, I mean, the guy had 7,000 wins. All right? It raised a lot of people, too. All right? But in this one, the Battle of the Bone, goes against my heart, but I got to pick the Van Buren Pointers. I know. It's awful. Like Coach Elmore said, though, you got to beat them. We got to beat them just one more time. Beat them. Yeah,
but you still go with your alma mater. What are you thinking?
Oh, well, that's because Mansfield's good. That's the only reason you went with Mansfield's because they're good. I don't know yet. I'm hoping wrong.
You're going with Pointers here.
But yeah, because you keep records of this thing. This thing's a record. Like, you
I got you. Record. I'm going to go with Alma. I'm going to base this off this. I think if long as we don't cramp up, we got a pretty good shot. They're playing a lot of guys both ways. They got a big back. They've been, like I said, they dominate south side in the scrimmage. I'm going to go with Alma a little bit here. Mouth, who you got in this one?
And I've got to go with the Airedales, Alma Airedales here, because I hear they've got a tailback. Southside had no desire to tackle last Monday night. Had no desire to tackle. So, and I believe you play linebacker also for the Airedales.
I understand, Coach Elmore. Who you got in this one?
More importantly, you're basing your pick off of cramps as a coach.
Cramps. I know.
You don't feel like preparing your body? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, it's a selfish move to cramp up because that just means you didn't prepare your body. Isn't that right?
That is true. They're playing a lot of guys both ways, though.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hot on both sidelines. I mean, come on now. Hey, would you have accepted those excuses when you
Absolutely not. Absolutely
not. No, I'm going with Van Buren there again. Kind of like Coach Fimple said. I mean, it's like Ben and Bryant. You got to prove it. I mean, you can want to do it, but there's something to those mental hurdles. There's something to those mental. Like Van Buren kids, or you look at Bryant. I mean, Bryant goes into that game expecting to beat Ben. Ben goes into that game. They think, they hope, I mean, and we've all been in those situations before where you've got to get over that hurdle. Whether you're as a player or coach, you got that little flicker in the back of your mind going, can we do this? And until you actually do it, that's there. And then once you do it, then it can make it really hard for the other team to grab that momentum back, in future years. But I got to go with Van Buren just off the fact of, they're going into the game expecting to win the game. Alma's going into the game hoping they can win the game. Now they might, but until they clear that hurdle, it's just I think that's something that's relevant.
Yeah, that's true. I just really I think Alma Alma's been waiting for this bunch of seniors for a while.
I got something for you. I got something for the hydration here.
All right.
At Frank Vine's Field. You're worried about hydration when we used to drink from one single water hose without didn't even have a thing on the end. You just squirted each other. Yeah.
The PVC pipe.
Yeah. We didn't even have PVC pipe. We just had the water hose. You just kind of soaked your friends with it. Come on, man. Hydration. Come on.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Yes, what are we talking about?
Coach talking about.
Next thing you know, he's going to be talking about salt pills. Hey, I'm talking about salt pills.
I don't know what we're doing here, Mouth.
Yeah, Mouth. I mean, are you concerned about cramps? Are you concerned about their condition?
I'm more worried about me cramping watching the game.
Exactly.
They're in better shape.
Exactly.
Hey, if you're going into a game worried about cramps, you're already beat.
Good point. I admit there, but I'm a little concerned about their depth wise. That's one thing concerns about that game. All right, moving on. Battle of Rogers Avenue. Now, this is very interesting game. Of course, I've coached in 100 of them. Got Fort Smith South Side, North Side, and Daryl break this one down. South Side didn't look very good in the scrimmage. North Side doesn't have a quarterback. I don't even know where to go with this game a little bit. Talk to us, break it down for us.
Well, Southside has one returner on offense, 4 on defense, and their whole write-ups have been about their JV program last year. So I don't know where we're going with the plug-in here. So Southside, Battle of Rogers Avenue. I remember when you had to wait for hours to hopefully get a ticket in this. Fire marshals would shut it down quickly. Northside returns 4 on offense, actually 3 now to the quarterback, and 7 on defense. They do have Cam Massey back, the wide receiver, that went over 1,000 yards last year. We might just direct snap it to these guys. You're going to see a lot of bubble screens, maybe some end-around stuff. Both teams are going to be looking for an identity on offense for a while, I think. Southside returns their best defensive player probably in Dominique Parkinson, who had 74 tackles last year. He's kind of a hybrid guy, a linebacker, safety guy. Both of them have huge question marks on the quarterback spots. First defense, north side up front, defensive line's pretty good. So that could give Southside some problems. So I'm going to take Fort Smith north side in a giant maybe pillow fight here.
And I've been told first 121 wins this. I mean, it might be a 14-7 game, both of them. Really struggling offensively. Mouth, what you got in this one?
Well, the Mouth is Fort Smith Southside lost a whole bunch of really good players last year. I mean, they were that Southside was without question the most physical team in the state of Arkansas last year on the offensive side of the ball, replacing every offensive lineman. A lot of good defensive players that have gone on to the next level to play. Northside got Cam Massey, probably one of the top wide receiver in the state or in the conversation. But I'm going with the Southside Mavericks and Coach Dameron. Going with my heart probably instead of my head. But sometimes you got to go with your heart.
Yeah, it makes sense. Bill, break this one down for us. What do you think? You've been there.
I'm proud. Yeah, well, I was there. I rode the Southside team bus from Southside to Northside one time. Probably not everybody can say that. We played on a Thursday, and I was coming to watch Jeff or Coach Williams and them play, and just hopped on the bus with them. So that was a good time. I'm going to go with Coach Curry and the Northside Grizzlies. Going with them. And I didn't really, honestly, I didn't have a pick. I was waiting listen to Daryl's expert analysis of this game before I made my pick. See, I didn't have anything circled. I didn't know. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a high school football genius.
Yeah. Well, wait till my picks next year.
It's an unknown. There's so many new guys and this and that. God, this kills me. This is killing me. I'm gonna go.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't put the Hall of Fame. They want to put this guy in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
I'm going to go with Southside, but I'm telling you, I think first 121 wins this one. It's unbelievable. I think the first one the 21 can win this game. I could see a lot of turnovers and things like this. Kicking game, man, kicking game here.
You're telling me you're expecting a high quality football game on week 0 between these two teams this year?
I think we're going to see a lot of inexperience, Bill. That's a good word for what we're trying to say there. A lot of inexperience in here.
Dan Massey runs a 4.340, by the way.
That's a problem. That is
sticking that out there.
Problem. That's a big problem.
It's not a JV number.
I got to go with Southside. All right. Our next to last game, right for our game of the week. Here it goes. Fayetteville at Cabot. These guys have been playing. They've been playing in the playoffs. They've been playing in the regular season. Fayetteville has a nice scrimmage against Greenwood. Bill, you were there for a little bit. Jumped on Greenwood 14-0. Greenwood came back. Cabot went to Russellville, pretty much dominated that scrimmage, which they should have. Talk to us, Daryl. Break this game down for us.
Well, Fayetteville is returning 7 starters on offense, 6 on defense. Of course, they're having to replace about 5,000 yards in offense. Lindsey graduates, goes to Minnesota. Plus, they lost a couple wide receivers, and their tailback is also playing. I think he's playing at Pitt State. Odom, Coach Odom's boy, comes back from Las Vegas, where he threw for 643 yards and rushed for 523, accounted for 16 touchdowns. I guess that'd be Las Vegas's 5A, 4A, one of those. They are going to turn to a running back that transferred in over from Bentonville, Christian Battles. They have the best wide receiver probably in the West, and Jason DeLamar, who's came back. He had 1,483 yards last year with 17 touchdowns. They're really high on Katavian Taylor. Everybody's big on this guy on the outside. They have 3 starters on the offensive line back. They have a linebacker, Rhett Tidwell, back with 80 tackles. Parker Meese, who everybody in the country, by the way, transferred in from IMG Academy.
Wow.
So he left prep school. There's a note to kids out there. This guy left prep school, came back to Fayetteville. Everybody's still offering him, too. It's crazy. So it doesn't matter where you play, huh? They'll always come get you.
They found him, but where Fayetteville, Arkansas was, they found him.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Very athletic guy. I mean, he's got offers from everybody in the SEC just about. So look for great things for him on the defensive side of the ball. Cabot, though, we're big on Coach Reed, and this is a Coach Reed built team, by the way. All right, their average offensive lineman. You ready for this? 6'3", 288 pounds. You think they're going to run it inside any at all? They've got Maddox McCoy back. He got hurt last year, so they had some quarterback shuffling going on. Had one kid that decided to just stick with baseball. I think everybody that was a baseball player that was pretty good started sticking with baseball when they found out the kid from Valley View's making $3 million. So it's a pretty good decision. But they look for Maddox McCoy at quarterback, McCroy. Keegan Vest is back at running back for Cabot. He rushed for 1,043 yards and 11 touchdowns. Cooper Powell was another running back they had. He had 461 yards in 13 touchdowns. But their offensive line's back. Bryson Weathers probably anchors them at 6'6", 285. They got Caleb Roberts, 6'5", 315. McCullough, 6'1", 295. Their center, 6 foot, 285. The Herd kid, Logan Thomas, 6'3", 260. He's kind of the guy that makes everything happen, too. He plays guard. They're really good up front. Their only biggest problem with Cabot is going to be their secondary and their defensive line. And playing Fayetteville, that's not a good mix on the defensive side. Pretty good at linebacker. Coach Reed will figure out some way to keep them in. He'll scheme it up. And they're playing at home. Cabot is. All right. Fayetteville's breaking a new quarterback. So guess who Fimp's taking? He's taking the Cabot Panthers.
Whoa!
Where's Coach Reed at? Where's Coach Reed at? Look at this pick. This is a sunshine pick right here, baby. You got to put shades on when you make a pick like that. I mean, that is sunshiny. So you got to block the sun right there. Coach Reed's going to make it happen. Shock the world. Week 0. Right off the bat. Fayetteville's going to think, why did we pick this game? Why did we pick this game?
Wow. All right. That's okay. I didn't see that coming, Mouth. You're close to that Cabot program. Talk to us a little bit about this game.
Oh, it's going to be a great game. The Mouth's going to be on assignment there at Cabot at the game. really looking forward to it. Cabot's going to be really good on offense with the quarterback and a running back vest, 1,000-yard rusher. Now, Coach Williams, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. The mouth is going outside his heart this game. The mouth is going with the mind, with the brain. The mouth is going with the head. He is thinking about mouth picking the purple dogs.
Picking the purple dog. That is, it doesn't shock me with that, but back and forth with this one a little bit. But and you're going to go. It's funny. Daryl's going with the Cabot, and you're going with the purple dogs. Bill, who you like in this one?
Is there any truth to the rumor that Coach Reed is going back to the dead T?
There's been rumors out there that we're just changing the formations up a little bit, but
changing different formations, just running the same place. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we watched. I watched a little bit of that game, and it was. I got to go with Fayetteville. They just got so many weapons. I like the speed of their linebackers. They some different things that you can see. I haven't seen Cabot. Obviously, I know they'll be well prepared and everything, but if they've got more weapons than Fayetteville does, I just have to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go with Fayetteville also. So Daryl, you're the only one jumped on Cabot. Well, let's get into this one. This is our Lindsay Associated game of the week. Warren at Greenbrier. Before we get in this, let's go ahead and bring on our man from down at Warren, head coach Bo Hembree. Uncle Bo, you're the game of the week, man. You're in the game of the week almost a lot. Going to be a game of the week a bunch this year. But Warren at Greenbrier, we talked about this in the preseason show. You're not scared to go out and play bigger competition. Greenbrier feels like they've got one of the best teams they've had in a long time. Very interesting matchup. Great running back. You guys had a great scrimmage with McGee this past Friday. Got to watch a little bit of that. Very impressed with your team. Talk to us a little bit about Greenbrier this week 0, the unknowns, kicking game, depth, the whole kick and caboodle. Let's see where we're at in life here.
Yeah, I mean, Greenbrier's really big up front. They got, their tackles are huge at 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds, and their guard 6'3", 275, 280, and like you said, they got a really good running back who's very explosive. He started for them last year. They're breaking in a new quarterback. I think their quarterback left and went to Red Oak, Texas. They're breaking a new quarterback in, but they're coming back down from 6A. They played the PA, Little Rock Christian, Greenwood. So you look at them, and they're well tested. So they got probably 80 players. We probably got 40. That's double the number that we have, and but we're excited about it. We're excited to go and see where we're at as a football team. We got a long ways to go. That's why you play games like this, is to see where you're at so you can find your weaknesses, because, Greenbrier is going to find them. And that's something we're going to talk about tonight when we meet at 6 o'clock is, we start our preparation on Sunday nights, and just trying to get that out of the way with the film study and introducing Greenbrier. And it's going to be a huge test for our football team.
Well, it is. And the part of it is, you guys experience, most times you're playing these games neutral side a lot of times, but you're having to go on the road and play there. That's just getting your team ready down the road. Talk to us a little bit about the preparation of getting ready to go on the road in a hostile environment.
Well, I think they're going to have a pretty good crowd. Steve Wood, the athletic director there, texted me, I guess yesterday morning, said there was 90% chance of rain.
Oh,
so, well, that's great. Maybe we can at least get something out of it. We'll work wet ball drills all week, but week one, I didn't even know that. I didn't even see the next Friday night. So that just adds to it a little bit. But as as a former coach, you want to have a rain game early. Especially in a non-conference. I'm not saying you want to, but it don't bother you if you do, because that gets you experience. You get a chance to play in the rain, and it won't come up in a big ball game down the road. At least hopefully you've done it, and the other team you're playing down the road hadn't. That'll be the best case scenario.
Well, talk to me a little bit about this health-wise. How do you feel? Did you come out of scrimmage pretty healthy? everybody feeling pretty good.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. So how would you answer that question back in about, when you were coaching, when this is going to go out in the state of Arkansas? Hey, yeah, let me ask that question back to you. I mean, are you really going to tell if you're, we're healthy. We're healthy as we can be. We have no beats or bruises, so.
Everybody's fresh.
Everybody's fresh. Everybody's stressed out. I mean, as a former coach, that's that question right there. You think you'll ever get a true answer out of that question?
No. You're going to tell everybody who's healthy, who you want to tell them who's healthy. And if somebody's dinged up, that depends on how they're feeling. They might feel better later on. We don't know, And so I'm with you. Well, Coach, talk to me just a little bit. And I know you hadn't dove in straight into it right now. It's early in the week. What's some keys to the game? I mean, obviously week 0, we talked about it on here about, they've got 80 players. You got 40 conditioning, special teams. You never know how that's going to work out the first game, that part of it. Offense and defensively, taking care of the ball and things like that. Talk to me a little bit. What's your expectations and what's some keys to the game to win?
Right. Be able to survive. We played Fayetteville. We played Fort Smith Southside. It's not the 11 on 11. It's the second team, and they just keep running numbers at you. And our kids got to be in shape enough to handle it. And it's like I told them before. And I know you probably don't even, you probably haven't realized it or faced something like this. But when you're a 4A team playing the likes of a 7A or 6A or 5A team with a lot of numbers, like playing 2 teams at one time. We're sitting there and we're driving and we get a couple of first downs. And we're like, okay, we feel pretty good about it. Here comes 7 guys off sideline. So now we're playing a different team. And but at the same time, that makes us better. But we got to take care of the football. We got to have everything go right. If you look back over the years when we've done this, and Greenbrier is really a 6A football team. You can say what you say, 5A. They competed well in 6A. You go back and look at the scores last year with Pulaski Academy, with Little Rock Christian, with Benton. They sat there and went toe to toe with all them teams, and now they're dropping back down with the 6A experience. So I think they're going to be really good in 5A football this year, and I think Coach Tribble thinks that too. But our goal is to go get better. To be better when we leave out of there than we were when we started, and we've been able to do that over the past times we've done this, and it probably will be a hostile environment. But also, our kids understand that the expectations here to go play with teams like that, and we've never backed down from them. We played, the Gus Malzahn, when he was at Springdale, we played them. We're up at halftime 14-13. We played you when you was at Southside in 14. It was a heck of a football game. Y'all scored on the last play of the game to beat us. Coach Patton at Fayetteville beat us 35-21 in 13 when he was really good. So, it's not something new to us. But, you want to stay healthy, number one. And then number 2 is you want to get a lot out of it. When we walk out of these first 3 or 4 games, we want to be like, man, we can't. I remember leaving the game with you in Pine Bluff. There was nothing we were going to face that we didn't face that night. Y'all were big. Y'all were physical. We knew it was going to go downhill from there. And we ended up, going, playing for a state championship. But that's what we want. We want to go play some physical guys up front and let them beat up on us a little bit, but don't get us hurt now. But just, face that kind of team where whenever you go and play your conference, it's not as tough.
Well, good deal. Hey, man, game of the week, man. Everybody's looking forward to it. Hey, good luck to you. Get prepared, and everybody's going to be watching. We'll be checking your work.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, buddy. All right, Daryl, you just told Coach Hembree he's not scared of anybody, plays everybody in the regular season. Talk to us a little bit about this game. I think this is, man, what a matchup. What a huge matchup, week 0. This could be, it should be a great game. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Well, one, listening to Coach, not a lot of people are lining up to play him. This guy's going to Greenbrier, Arkansas. So Greenbrier, with 26 seniors this year, are thinking they're a pretty good football team. So we'll find out fast. Warren, everybody's picked. Everybody's darling. Of course, they've been there. 21 of the last 23 years, they've been in the state semifinals. Bam!
Wow.
Bam! Bam! It's like Christmas. I don't know what happened them 2 years. I don't know. Uncle Bo must have lost his mind them 2 years or something. Probably got beat in the quarters. They returned Jackson Denton, who was a freshman phenom last year, 3 for 3,200 yards and 46 touchdowns. Of course, I mean, I would like to know how many of them were bubble screens because I think there are a couple of them were just straight bubbles. But anyway, they returned Aaron Davis. His role's going to be huge. He's the fastest kid on the team. Could you imagine being the fastest kid on the team at Warren? That means you're really, really fast, man. Really, really fast. Antonio Jordan, everybody's in the freak squad right here. This guy's got 59 catches last year, over 1,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. Neon Dre Thomas. What a great name. Neon Dre Thomas. They had 39 catches for 849 yards and 14 touchdowns. I got another wide receiver, Cammy Davis, because this is, you know what this is. This is high school U right here, wide receiver U, baby. And Davis had 35 catches, 756 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Got all kinds of skilled players. Offensive line, they're plugging it in. Going to find just like Warren always does. Got some tough kids down there. And like Coach Bo says all the time, we train them since they're in 7th grade. So they know what it's like to be a lumberjack. They're going to load up the bus, head to Greenbrier, who's actually picked second in the 5A West by a lot of people. Like I said, they moved down a classification. They have 26 seniors back. Quarterback issues. Quarterback kind of left them there. They're looking at Jack Palmer coming in there. They also have a young kid named Ace Newell. Got some good bloodlines too. He was pretty crafty in junior high for them. They got the top running back. They got a big tackle, Josh Thomas. They're big up front. Defensive line is pretty much a strong point for Greenbrier. Secondary has to hold up, especially against Warren. They're going to see some dudes that are going to be scary. It's one of those that you're going to look across here. You might want to get an autograph. Hey, kids, quit asking them for an autograph. All right. You got to play them. We got to play them. We got to man up here. That's why we took the game. So that's the game of the week. You got to man up. You can't ask them for their autographs here. I think Warren knows what it's all about this year. I think they got a little taste of last year. And I think that they are on a mission right here. So I'm going to take Warren in this one, and I'm going to be there for the game of the week.
Oh, you Coach Stanley. This is game.
Yeah, I take my guy with me. You know, Warren's like watching one of these power chords. You know, you got your power chord, which is our guy, Coach Hembree there. He just keeps plugging guys in there. He's off his power chord right there. Guy's a walking Hall of Fame power chord. I mean, what did he say that time? He said that our kids do 2 things: they farm or they cut down trees or lumberjacks. I mean, what kind of community is that right there, buddy? You think somebody had to come up and practice, go, hey, coach, can't be there this afternoon. I got to go, run some lumber with my paw.
Well, and I think you nailed on something. I think the 2 biggest difference here, can Warren stop the run, and can Greenbrier's secondary hold up? I'm gonna go with Uncle Bo. All right, Mouth, who you got in this one?
Oh, you know where the Mouth's going here. He's going with Uncle Bo and the Warren Lumberjacks.
No doubt about it. So you're definitely on those guys all the way on this.
All the way. Warren, big.
Well, Coach Elmore, I got an opportunity to really watch Warren scrimmage. McGee film one real good. I couldn't see very good, but talk to me. Can Warren hold up defensively against Greenbrier's running back, and can Greenbrier's secondary hold up against Warren's pass attack? Talk to us a little bit about it.
I think kind of like what you hit on earlier. I'm going to go with Warren just because Uncle Bo, like you said. But, I think the same thing early in the year, is Warren's depth. I mean, I don't know the depth situation this year. I know in years past they've been really thin. So sometimes early in the year, you struggle a little bit of that. I mean, people say, well, you can run them in practice, and you can do all those things, but there's something different about conditioning during a game. You get more out of it, and I don't know what their depth is. That's the thing, and our guy's going to be playing both ways. I'm going to go with Warren. That's a concern of mine, just because I don't know, and it might not be a concern of Bo's. He may think this is as deep as we've ever been, and that's fine. But how would you know that in week 0? How would we know that just based off of things we've seen and read? So I'm gonna go with Warren, but that is a concern, is their depth.
Well, let me ask you this, and we've hit this twice, especially being as hot as it's going to be, and those things. And we were joking around about cramps and conditioning. When you were going into a week 0 game, you've seen the benefit game, but still a little different. How concerned were you about conditioning going into a game?
I was always concerned about it, but I always took that personal. I always, and I probably played it over the top. I'd tell them, if you're cramping, we're going to run next week until the world looks level. I mean, because I took it personal, the fact of that's my job. That's something that I do that I can control. Now I can't control what you eat at home. That's the one thing we can't control. But I can basically control what you drink. I can control, what kind of shape you're in. I can't dictate, our kids were going to eat whatever mom cooked on the stove or whatever was heated up in the oven. That's what they were going to eat. Or, mom and dad was going to give them $10 and they were going to go to McDonald's or something. You can't, as a high school coach, I think you're kidding yourself if you think you can dictate that, unless you feed them every meal. Now, with that being said, you encourage those things, but I always felt that if we had them in good enough shape, we were not going to cramp up that much. And then there's the different things. There's a mustard packets. We started ordering those cramp away, deals that they would take. You could order those on Amazon or something. And I don't know if they help. I know our kids thought they helped. And the Pedialyte, we dumped Pedialyte, just gallons and gallons of Pedialyte in the Gatorade, and they'd drink that their pregame meal. I think there's a lot of different things you can do to prepare for that. But ultimately, a lot of it does come down to the kids preparing themselves for it, and some will and some won't. So I don't know. We never had that big of a problem because I honestly feel like a lot of it was we just weren't going to accept it. And then the older kids got to where they weren't going to accept anybody cramping. If you're going to cramp, you better be back behind the bench where Coach Elmore can't see you, or we're going to have a problem. And that's the truth. And I think anybody that played for us would tell you that. If I got to come get you on the field because of a cramp, you're scaring your mama to death over a cramp because you didn't prepare your body for the game that you were going to go play in. And that's just something that would drive me crazy.
I got you. I think special teams week 0, man. It always gets crazy.
Special teams, somebody's going to block a punt, and I don't know the percentages. Some of these analytic guys can tell you, but if you have a punt block or block a punt would cause me to lay awake at night, worried to death that somebody was going to send a guy through. We would work special teams probably a lot, but man, I'm telling you, when I tell you we work punt every day, because if you get a punt block, your chances of winning go way down. And flips the field, does all those things. So we wanted to take care of protecting our punter, and getting down and covering, kickoff, return. All those things are important. But, man, that punt team, I'm telling you, there's something about the punt. And I would have had a lot more sleep as a head football coach if they'd have done like they did in the NFL and basically done away with kickoffs. If they just do away with punts and just the ball moves 35 yards, I would have not missed out on so many nights of sleep. That's the truth.
No doubt. Daryl, your final thoughts here, week 0 going into it.
Well, did you think that conditioning has changed, though, with all the 7-on-7? And I mean, these guys are year round, for gosh sakes.
Well, yeah, but they have been for years, but still.
That's true. It's true.
You can't compare a 7-on-7 or a team camp to an actual game, because if we're going to a team camp, and now imagine you're playing a hurry-up offense, your defense might get 4 to 6 snaps at a team camp, just one right after another, rapid fire. But it's not like a game where it might, somebody goes on a 12-play drive. Hopefully they don't, but it could happen. And you can't practice that in a team camp. Your offense, there's 3 other offenses out there sometimes. So you're running a play, then you're standing there watching them for a little while. It's not the same. All those things do help. And yes, it's a year-round conditioning program now. And I think we kind of screwed that up as coaches. I think kids probably need more time to be kids, but here we are now with what we're doing. And we did it. It was our generation that did it. We've all talked about it. But you can't simulate that game conditioning until a game. And that's the 2 things that make you lay awake at night as a head football coach. 1 is our conditioning. 2, punt team. I'm just telling you, punt team cost me hours, cost me years off my life probably worrying about that gum punt team.
Still fires him up. Still fires him up thinking about it.
Jeff will tell you, punt and quarterback sneak may be the two most important plays in football.
There's no doubt about that, and we could have a whole podcast over that. That quarterback sneak, I see. I mean, better practice that, guys out there. You can't be doing it this week because you should be doing it all summer because it's going to come down a 4th and 1 or a goal, and you got to make it. And the easiest play in the world is quarterback sneak. But
I don't know, Jeff. I need a 30-second synopsis from you. 4th and 6 inches. Are you going in shotgun or are you going under center? And people out there need to know that we've had this argument, and I call it an argument in our group text for years now about what, and I know what my thoughts are, and I'm pretty sure I know what your thoughts are.
I'm going to get up underneath center because it's a lot closer.
Every day of the week, I'm getting under center, and we're just going to push the herd that way. You know,
just wedge it up, man. Just wedge it up.
That's right.
But you got to,
especially when you have a 240-pound quarterback. That's what kills me. Like like everybody talks about Jalen Hurts being so good at getting inches. Well, he's a big dude. He squats like 600 pounds. Yeah. Why would you want to put him back there where he's a target? Yeah, that's nonsense.
Put him back there 6 yards. Take the ball 6 yards off the line of scrimmage, and you're trying to get 6 inches. Make that make sense to me. But anyway, that's here nor there. I'm on my soapbox, and nobody wanted to hear my soapbox.
Well, Daryl, give us final thoughts here, and everybody give us final thoughts, and then we'll get off here. Daryl, what's your final thoughts?
The hardest week to pick.
Oh, God.
Like next week, it's a way easier pick. I don't care what games we've got. Week 3 is going to be awesome, by the way. You're going to have a hard time figuring out which 10 we're going to pick because week 3, I think everybody just said, hey, we're going to play everybody good. Yeah, we're going to find out real fast where you are. So week 0 is always hard to pick, but, man, we got some good games, and, man, this is here. That's all we got.
Exactly. Mouth, what's your final thoughts?
To anybody that's a high school football fan, get out and support your local team this week, because it's a great week of high school football.
No doubt. Coach Elmore, your final thoughts.
Great week. It is. It really, you send out top 10 games of the week, and a lot of the rivalry games now with the different conference realignments and stuff. A lot of the rivalry games that might have been week 10 are now week 0. And so it's a really cool kickoff to the season. And I'm not going to lie. I'm probably not going to watch any live streams. It's my last night at the beach Friday night. I'll probably keep up on Twitter with who wins and loses. How about that one?
Well, that's a good point. Good point. I'm in the beach. I bet you watch a little live stream. Don't be lying to the people out there. Don't be lying to the people. You know you will.
I might watch a little bit of it. We'll see.
It will be. Well, and I agree with everybody here. I think that, this week's the hardest one to pick. There's a lot of, you don't know what's going to happen, and we're going to see a lot of teams grow, a lot of teams go backwards. So it'll be a lot of fun. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Daryl Fimple, and the mouth, Brent Bender, and our special guest picker, Bill Elmore, we'll see you next time.